You know what? I haven't given one of those in a little bit. Early round draft strategy for your 2018 fantasy football season. Fantasy Smack Talk here. Dustin, McNeil Barkley, Brent, Robert Namco. It's Matthew. I know.
McNeil?
I know.
I don't have two last names.
Ooh.
Check out.
Kevin's middle name's McNeil. He's gonna hate on you when he sees this video.
His middle name's McNeil?
Yeah, you think it's goofy, huh? You hate it.
I don't think it's goofy.
You hear that, Kevin?
I think it's a last
You're like
name.
a 7th degree black belt.
It's
Just
a last
letting you know.
Check out our draft guide. Click on the link in the description. We're going to be updating it throughout the preseason. So be sure to check it out, and it's free. Top 150 cheat sheet in there as well.
And this will be the last year, hopefully it's free, because according to Brett Namco, it should just be 99 cents.
Probably still be free.
It probably will. Leave a comment, say that we're nice at least. All right, early round draft strategy. Here's the deal. Go running backs early. I don't care what anybody says. That's what I personally like to do. This whole zero running back is gone. We were never on board with that. We always said that the problem with zero running back is it's just overinflating these receivers and it's giving them too much value and people are almost reaching on receiver early. That's not what you should do. You go with the best player available when it's your turn to pick in the first couple rounds. And we're going like, we're talking like picks 1 through 40 here, right? So if that happens to be 2 running backs in your first 2 and then a receiver, so be it. If it happens to be a receiver and 2 running backs, that's fine too. But you just got to get the best players available because every week you want to put it, it's not a season long. You got to look at it, break it up in a little bit. Your team has to be better than the other teams every week. You need to have a perceived value over the other teams. And you can do that with getting the best players.
And we've been getting a lot of comments like, oh, I do zero running back all the time. It works great. Why are you so against it? It's not that we're against zero running backs. If you go wide receiver, because that's where the value's at when it's your turn to pick, that's fine. We just didn't agree with the overcorrection, with everyone almost forcing the receivers just because they didn't want to draft running backs because they were too injury prone or whatever. They didn't trust them. So we know that you can still win not taking running back. And I do want to point out one thing and I don't necessarily recommend this, but I just wanted to point out.
I don't at all.
I wanted to point out because it's kind of fun just because
Standard Dustin Cockamini team.
It's not possible. This hasn't been possible in years past because the best quarterback would normally go like early 3rd and it wasn't possible.
Just explain what it is.
I'm getting to it.
I know, you're hyping it up.
So if you're at the end of the first, and let's say Hopkins is there, you take Hopkins. It comes back to you on the second, and you get Julio Jones or Odell. You got 2 of the top 3 receivers. That's fun. Then it goes down, comes back to you. Guess what? Kelsey's still there, and you can have your pick of the quarterbacks. That's pretty interesting. Now, I would only suggest going wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, if that is where the value is. They all slip to you. It's all at kind of tier breaks. And you're active on the waiver wire, you can get the running backs, you can find the diamond in the rough, and you're good at trading if you get into a bind. But so we're not saying that it has to be running backs and that we completely disagree.
Hold on. Part 2 of that, if you do Dustin's insane strategy and you think it's fun, that means you're loading up with running backs.
Your bench is running backs. Your bench is running.
And if you think it's too many, it's not. Just keep going.
But the only way I would do that is if at every time it's my turn to pick, that's the best player. And but that's why I'm bringing it up, because the way the tier breaks are, it's very possible that it could happen that way.
And I get this, and Dustin's not going in with a set plan to do this in any leagues necessarily, and that's our other thing. We always say the 2 main tips we give you for early round strategy is number 1, best player available. Number 2, do not go in with a set plan. We get asked all the time, hey, should I go running back, tight end, receiver? I have no idea because I don't know what's going to happen in your draft. So you can't go in with that. So you don't have this set strategy. If you think you're going running back, receiver, running back, or that's what you've deemed, but whenever you take your first running back and then for some unknown reason Barkley slips because no one believes in rookies in your league in the second round, well, right there, you got to change it up. So do not go in with a set plan. However, for newbies out there, one of your first 2 picks should be a running back, in my opinion.
I mean, that is ideal, and that's just where the value is, and I think it's so much easier to build your team around a solid RB1. And if you don't get that RB1, a lot of times I've found myself scrambling, or I end up trying to trade for one later, and it's just But that's why the other way, if it is the best player, I mean, it's not going to be hard to trade Julio Jones for a running back if you need to, you know? So, I mean, that's, again, you got the best player at that spot. But if, you know, if like Brent was talking about, I mean, I don't think Barkley's going to make it to the second round in hardly any leagues. But if he does...
It could. There's going to be one league out there where it does.
Yeah, you're going to abandon that strategy, and you're going to take the running back. So.
One other bonus tip, if you're, let's say we're in a 10-team league and you're at pick 2 or pick 9 against one of those back-to-back bookend picks, and it's coming to you, and you're like, should I take a receiver or a tight end? Look at their team, and if they already have like a tight end on their team, then on the way in, you take the receiver because they probably won't double down on the tight end, and then on the way out, you can take the tight end. So just to let you know, I love to be picked 2 or 9 in like a 10-team league, or 2 and 11 and a 12, whatever, because then I know exactly what the guy next to me has.
And this year, I think the most interesting spots are being right around like the 5th pick and being at the end of the draft. I think there's more things that can happen with the type of positions that you're going to get in those spots. You know, like Antonio Brown being in the middle of the first, or the wide receivers being at the end of the first. And then again, it comes back to you have the option of the quarterbacks if you want to. So that I kind of like being at the end of the first round this year, because I think you'll have more options than if you were at the beginning. You probably are looking running back, maybe running back, wide receiver in some cases. But I don't mind mixing it up a little bit sometimes if you get a little. Feeling a little daring.
Also, sometimes ask this, full point PPR, and you get to choose what spot you are, I would choose pick 5. Those 4 running backs and Brown, whatever's left, I'm happy about, and then I get on the way back.
So that's, just kind of in a nutshell, running or early round draft strategy. We wanted to talk about the 0 running back because, again, it's not that we don't think it can work or that we completely hate it. We were just talking about the emphasis shift. So that's
whatever. We were right. We said it was stupid that everybody was doing this. And now no one's doing it because it was stupid.
But we're just saying that if you were forcing it, it was
That's
stupid.
why the 0 strategy was forcing it. Now it's just, everyone's back to take best player available, and it just so happens that 9 out of the first 10 are running backs, that 13 out of the first 20 are running backs, and that 21 out of the first 40 are running backs.
Yeah, back to normal.
It's back to normal.
Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Check out all our videos. We got a lot coming up for this preseason.
Hey, McNeil.
What? I'm sorry, that's a weird middle name. I've never heard it as a first name.
I
know.
He is going to front kick you to the dome.
I know some people with the last name McNeil.
I'm just saying, he's 7th degree black belt.
I'm not being disrespectful.
There's 0 chance he'll actually break your nose. Don't worry. So stop
he's
crying
a nice
about
guy.
it.
McNeil.
You already want me to text him right now. I can tell. You're scared. It's so weak. Weak.